I keep my favorite books out like this. They're easy to grab, begging to be read, and they bring a powerful spirit into any room. I travel all the time for my movie work and put the scriptures out and open in the hotel rooms the same way. It makes any room, anywhere, a holy place. Try it and you'll never skip a day of reading again. One of my top 10 books of all time is Isaiah, Plain and Simple. Ooh, that purple, white, and gold trim cover that is timeless and beautiful like its text. I read it to understand the Isaiah verses when I was 15, and it just blew open, expanded my mind. After reading it, the scriptures were easy. I could pretty much understand anything, and it gave me the true feeling of what it's like to feast on the Word. I felt fulfilled. It puts the Isaiah biblical text right next to the Nephite text on the right and underlines the differences, subtle but profound differences. Remember, Nephi selected 13 special Isaiah chapters out of the 66 available and put them into a block in 2nd Nephi, specifically for us, our benefit in the last days. This is one of those special chapters Nephi hand-selected. Page 23, Isaiah 3, 2nd Nephi 13. I felt guided today by the Spirit to share this text with you, even more than my own story. In this chapter, Isaiah is the ultimate last days whistleblower. Let's read. Isaiah speaks of a period of great social chaos and oppression. Sounds a lot like today. As noted in the overview, Judah will experience the deprivation of everything on which she depends. Judah, in these chapters Nephi hand-selected from Isaiah for us in the last days, is the type and shadow or symbolism of us in the last days. So think about that while we're reading. There will be a scarcity of food, warriors, and leaders in both the spiritual and political sense. The people will plead for capable leadership, but to no avail. Okay, let's get into the chapter. Now with my pinky, I'm going to point to the Nephite text, and my pointer finger, the biblical text, but I'm actually going to be reading the Nephite text, so follow the pinky. For behold, the Lord of hosts. That's a title the Lord has when he means business, means the Lord of armies or captain of the guard. So listen up. Doth take away from Jerusalem, the capital, and from Judah, the kingdom. So you've got the political leaders and the people. So there's a problem across the board, leadership down to the bottom. Going to take away the stay, what's that? And the staff, means support, the whole staff of bread, their physical sustenance, and the whole stay of water, what they need for life. He's also going to take away the leaders, but stay here with me on the whole stay of bread and staff of water, and check out what Victor Ludlow has to say about this. It's amazing. The stay and the staff. One meaning of the word stay is support. Staff also bears the connotation of being a support. In Hebrew, staff is the feminine form of the masculine stay. By using both forms, noted Victor Ludlow, Isaiah seems to suggest complete destruction, spiritual, social, and physical. Thus, the prophet's language and imagery carry many implications beyond the threat of physical famine, talking about when he was saying he's going to take away bread and water. Removing the staff or support of a nation is analogous to suddenly taking away the props or stakes of a tent. The tent collapses shapeless on the ground. In essence, Judah is threatened with total collapse of the support products or people upon which she depends. Now let's read about these people. Such a great commentary. Now back to those leaders who are also at stake of being taken away. Who is it? And this part really rocks me. I feel responsible and part of this. Like I can't let people down. I need to be able to, with the greater light and knowledge I have, to lead and set a good example. But look what Jerusalem and Judah are being deprived of, both because the leaders aren't rising up to what they're supposed to be doing, and also because they're not deserving of having these righteous men lead. The mighty man and the man of war, the judge and the prophet and the prudent and the ancient, the captain of 50 and the honorable man, and the counselor and the cunning artificer and the eloquent orator. Rather than them, and I will give children unto them to be their princes, their leaders, and babes shall rule over them. What is this? The mighty man and man of war and those other leaders spoken of. When we look at the Hebrew words in this passage, we learn that among those of whom Israel will be deprived are leaders, mighty man, warriors, and military chiefs. when it talks about the children to be their princes, Judah's lack of leadership will be evident with the need to place the young and inexperienced, those who lack maturity and understanding, in these vital positions. Outsiders who lack an understanding, babes shall rule over them. This is important because it is showing this leadership, of course, should have been exercised through the priesthood, as shown by Joseph Smith. Instead, you've got babes or children, those who would rule without the priesthood. This is not the leadership you need for a Zion or for a Judah or for us in the last days. This is broken leadership, resulting in verse 5, and the people shall be oppressed, every one by another, and every one by his neighbor. The child shall behave himself proudly against the ancient, the elders and the wise, and the base against the honorable. Verse 6, when a man shall take hold of his brother, of the house of his father. Why is he taking hold of his brother? His father should be leading. The father's not in the right spot. The father's not leading, so he's asking his brother, and shall say, thou hast clothing, meaning the mantle or the birthright. Be thou our ruler, because all the other guys aren't ruling. And let not this ruin come under thy hand. And in that day shall he swear, saying, I will not be a healer or anyone who can benefit or help anyone else. For in my house there is neither bread nor clothing. Make me not a ruler over the people. He's got his own stuff. He can't deal with helping other people because he's got his own crap to deal with. Look at this. The brother is looking for anyone to help, any sort of leadership. The father should be in that role. The older brother, who's supposed to be the first in charge to do what's right, isn't there. And the younger brother's looking for any sort of security, any sort of stay, and any sort of staff, and he can't find it anywhere. A failure of leadership in the family resulting in, for Jerusalem is ruined and Judah is fallen. The larger societal collapse right after verse 7, where it shows the family and patriarchy, father collapsed, not assuming their responsibility and their role as leaders. Internal family collapse precedes large-scale societal collapse, and we're seeing this because their tongues, what they say, and their doings, what they do, have been against the Lord to provoke the eyes of his glory. The glory of the Lord, as the Pearl Great Price says, to bring to pass the immortality and eternal life of man. This is temple work, and they were obstructing this very important work of eternal families. You could see it on their faces. Look at verse 9. The show of their countenance, that light in their eyes, which we have to keep with us by staying close to the word, doth witness against them, and doth declare their sin or our sin, to be even as Sodom. The sin of Sodom, obviously homosexuality, sexual sins like rape, what they did to Lot. We saw that in the Abraham story, but it's even deeper. Ezekiel took us into the world of the social and spiritual decay and cancer that was happening in Sodom, which was deeper, oppressing the widows, not taking care of the children and the fatherless. There was a deeper idleness. There was a lot of talk about the women being very, very vain. This was a social and spiritual decay, and he's relating it to what is happening today. And they cannot hide it. Woe unto their souls, for they have rewarded evil unto themselves. These are people that know better. Say unto the righteous that it is well with them, for they shall eat the fruit of their doings. Oh, that's nice. Finally, a ray of hope. There are righteous in these times. There were righteous then, and they will eat the fruit of their doings. Woe unto the wicked, for they shall perish, for the reward of their hands shall be upon them. Verse 10 and 11, very, very visual illustrative of what I'm thinking of Lehi's dream, where you've got the people eating the fruit and all of those in the great and spacious building falling on the pride. Let's keep going. As for my people, children are their oppressors, and women rule over them. Non-priesthood and young and inexperienced leadership broken is resulting in, O my people, they who lead thee cause thee to err and destroy the way of thy paths. Their patriarchy is being broken. The Lord standeth up to plead and standeth to judge the people. The Lord will enter into the judgment with the ancients, those are the wise and the elders who should be correcting things of his people, and the princes, the leaders. Therefore, for ye have eaten up the vineyard, meaning the leaders are taking things for themselves and not dispersing it. And the spoil of the poor in your houses, the leaders are taking and destroying the poor. What mean ye? Ye beat my people to pieces and grind the faces of the poor, saith the Lord, the God of hosts. The leaders are taking too much for themselves and not dispersing it. The have and have-nots are getting further and further apart. We're seeing this today. Like the end of a society with spiritual decay, the barometer of virtue and morals in this chapter is the daughters of Zion. Almost no changes between the biblical and the Nephite text. Moreover, the Lord saith, because the daughters of Zion are haughty, and walk forth with stretched forth necks, pride, not humility, and wanton eyes, seductive eyes that focus on carnality, walking and mincing as they go, and making a tinkling with their feet, trying to bring focus to their bodies, not their spirits. Therefore the Lord will smite with a scab the crown of the head of the daughters of Zion, and the Lord will discover their secret parts. Modern translation is move their hair so you can see that the surface is hiding a deeper problem. The scabs that the Lord says, but it's deeper. It's their spirit not being the compass of the society that women are. In that day, the Lord will take away the bravery of their tinkling ornaments and the calls and the round tires like the moon. It sounds like Dr. Seuss. The chains and the bracelets and the mufflers and the bonnets and the ornaments and the legs and the headbands and the tablets and the earrings and the rings and the nose jewels. I would add the surgery and the Botox, the changeable suits of apparel and the mantles and the wimples and the crisping pins. That's purses. The glasses, which people think is see-through or transparent clothing, and the fine linen and the hoods and the veils, all concealing the spirit of the daughter of Zion, one of the last things to fall before a culture falls. And it shall come to pass, instead of sweet smell, there shall be stink, and instead of a girdle, a rent. In modern translation, a rent is changed to rope, meaning instead of spiritual freedom and prosperity, bondage and slavery, and instead of a well-set hair, baldness, and instead of a stomacher, a girdling of sackcloth, the clothing that in the Old Testament they used to mourn and show sorrow with, burning instead of beauty. This references branding, again the slavery reference. Thy men shall fall by the sword, and thy mighty in the war. And her gates, now referring to Jerusalem, those gates of those walls, those protective walls that are the last barrier and the true strength of those walls. Isaiah says, I have graven thee upon the palms of my hand, and thy walls are continually before me. Meaning before an army is a wall, and before the wall is Jehovah, the true strength and protection. And her gates shall lament and mourn. Why are they mourning? Because they've forsaken. Have they? Have we? They have forsaken Jehovah, the one true strength, and she shall be desolate and shall sit upon the ground. You are not meant to be on the ground as a son or daughter of Zion. You are not meant to be sitting. You are meant to be standing as a leader, an elder, a teacher, a mother, a father, a prophet, a church that brings light into the eyes and the countenance of all of Judah or Zion in the last days. The takeaway from all of this is Isaiah courageously whistleblowing 2,700 years ago. Nephi hand-selected it for us in the last days around 600 BC. In 1995, Hoyt Brewster Jr. puts this together so we can understand it in the last days. And oh wow, is this relevant in the 2020s in the last days. It reminds men from all walks of life to rise to their duty and be the righteous leaders they are meant to be, and not shirk away their responsibility, that the daughters of Zion must be who they were born in the last days to be, the defenders and exemplars of virtue and morals, not overstyled ornaments of seduction. Youth must respect their elders, and elders cannot abandon their leadership, forcing youth to lead in their absence. We must not become as Sodom, following their pattern of physical, social, and spiritual destruction. Isaiah has shown us how to course correct. It is up to us to courageously do so. You can do this. We can reverse this. You were born for this. This is what you were born to do.